Perfect. All right. So EasyGum, gingiva aesthetics in 10 minutes, right? What used to take 45 minutes to an hour with an aesthetic hybrid, for sure, there is a dramatic savings in time. We're hearing technicians for like implant hybrids doing it in like 15 to 20 minutes. Today, we're going to highlight using it on a printed denture hybrid in just a couple minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. It is a light cured composite strip that you just apply with your fingers. It is really easy to use. It's also really easy to train, and you can use it on nanoceramics, printed hybrids, milled PMMA, titanium, and even zirconia. It is indicated for definitive use on zirconia. If you want to use EasyGum on zirconia, you can. A lot of great applications and a wide variety of different prosthetics that you can use with EasyGum. Just a little bit about the color system. It's available in 6 different shades. As you can see, we followed the Lucitone system of shading. So we have original pink, dark reddish pink, light reddish pink, and light pink. And then below you see we have 2 opaque shades. These are higher in opacity. And so if you want something quick that will mask out the underlying printed provisional or milled provisional, you want it to mask out the white background a little bit quicker, then you could use one of the opaque shades. You can also mix these together if you wanted to. I know Shanna Grip was cutting triangles out of one of the opaque and applying it, which you can do for sure. So it comes in 6 shades. And then we have pink modifiers, which are the flowable composite that matches the strip. But we also have the pink translucent, which is a really cool, like translucent flowable, commonly used around the CEJ and some other places. So some great modifiers here, some pink modifiers. And then we have intense modifiers that you would use for like the veins and other elements of gingival characterization. And we have this root color that you can use for formation and adding definition for the root of the teeth. And so here's the whole system in the strips and the pink modifiers and the intense modifiers. We have some prior webinars on YouTube if you want to watch Amanda Carson or Shanna Grip or Carson Klemick use the whole master kit system. We have some recorded webinars you guys could access there. We're not going to dive into the whole system today. Today, we're here to talk about speed. Here's a case that Shanna Grip did, upper and lower printed, and she even polished it with speed polish. She talks a lot about her preference for polishing versus glazing. So definitely give speed polish a try. It works really, really well with EasyGum. So I want to start off and pose a question to everyone in the audience. And this is a printed hybrid, or sorry, a printed denture try-in. Is this a problem? Would you look at this case and be like, yeah, this could be a problem for a doctor or a patient? Well, it's a beautiful try-in, so maybe it's not a problem, but what about this? What about when the patient is trying it in and all they see is glaring white, right? They don't see any distinction. They don't see how much, it's hard for the patient to see how much gingiva is showing. I mean, the doctor and the technician we can see that visually better, like where the lip line is relative to the clinical crowns. And this is common because printing a monolithic denture for a try-in out of a single piece of material is fast, it's easy, and it's common. But I do believe that this adds a little bit of friction in the workflow. So what if we could take this and turn it into this, right? Maybe some of you are thinking, well, adding pink takes time. Hopefully that's why you're here, because you want to understand how to go fast and put some pink on a provisional denture try-in just a couple minutes. So a half a strip of EasyGum is $7 and will take about 3 to maybe 5 minutes of time to apply it. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, is adding a little bit of pink to your denture try-ins to elevate what the denture try-in could look like. Obviously, if the patient wanted to keep this try-in denture for emergency backup in the future, wouldn't it be nice to have a little bit of pink on there? And I do believe as a lab, if you want to differentiate your try-ins, there's an opportunity to add a little bit of pink quickly and aesthetically for just a few dollars in a few minutes of time. And so today we have Kaila and Matt and Darren with us to share their experience, and they're just going to talk openly and freely of what their initial reaction to EasyGum, how they started using EasyGum, and then we're going to take it from there and we'll have some dialogue. So Kaila, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and now we will transition to Kaila. So for all of us, we'll turn off our video cameras, and Kaila will keep her 2 cameras on. And we'll let Kaila get us started. And Kaila, I'll set you up with an introductory question.
Perfect.
When you're a ceramist by trade, not a denture technician by trade or by discipline, just give me your initial reaction to using EasyGum initially through the eyes of a ceramist, and just kind of first impressions, how long it took you to kind of get comfortable with it, and then what do you think about it now as you've been using it?
Yeah, no, totally. Thank you. So I am very much a new denture user. I'm not user, but I've been doing dentures now for a while, but not super long. My trade is in ceramics. That's where I've really learned how to be a dental technician. So getting thrown into digital dentures has been very new to me. And so for me, EasyGum has also been relatively new. I've been using it. I think I have about 10 cases, maybe if that. So I'm like here to show you the true experience of what to expect when you first get your hands on it. But it's been really easy to play with, really easy to use, just what you would expect. So I can just kind of briefly walk you through what I do with this case. But for me, I am not a fan of polishing and pumicing. I'm just not good at it. And I kind of won't do something if I'm not super good at it, because I don't want to send out a bad product. So when I was first doing digital dentures, I was attempting to polish these try-ins, pumice them, and I would over polish everything and they would just be super shiny. But like in that photo before, no patient could see where anything was. So we'd get a lot of try-ins back where they'd like take a pen and they're trying to draw to show that patient. So this has been, I wish I would have had this when we were transitioning to a lot of try-ins to digital dentures. It would have been a bit of an easier transition probably a few years ago for us. But so this has been really easy for me just to get my hands on to use. I haven't trained anyone yet on it, but I think if someone has just really good hands, it's really easy to pick up. It's super intuitive to use. So I'll just kind of walk you through what I've been doing with these cases. I really like the opaque because we're going to kind of take this half sheet here that I just cut and stretch it. And so I want that opaque to block out my try-in. So I'm just going to go take off one side, find where my camera is. I like to put it right down that midline, and I'm going to start to just push it in. And sorry, I'm not at my workbench, so my lighting is not as good. And I don't think I have old eyes, but it's harder to see in here. So I'm just going to start to move it along. And I find it's easier to place that strip right to where that papilla is going to end versus trying to add a papilla. I'll show you because I like to cut it away. So I'm just going to like keep working around. Once I get to kind of where I like it, I'm going to pull back that second sheet. And so now we've got it placed on there. Anything that is hanging over, I'm just going to trim it and use it to finish it, to add any spots that I'm, short or missing. But then we've got this papilla tool here, and I'm just going to start to cut away that excess. I didn't look at the clock for when I started this, Rob, but I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
I've been counting.
You've been counting? Perfect. For seconds,
Yeah,
I want an exact count.
You're at 1 minute and 20 seconds.
So now I'm just going to start to
I might cut you at 10 seconds, though.
Oh, dang it.
You need to hustle.
Right, okay. I mean, I would say, bam, done. Throw it in the light here. I'm sorry, I'm totally off place there on the camera, but super easy. I mean, yeah, I could spend more time and tinker with it, but really, I mean, this is
The
a
try
great prototype to be able to show that patient, hey, what are the tissue? Where's the tissue going to be? Where are your teeth going to be? This is a great tool to be able to communicate that with. So,
Do you use
bam.
the back end of the tool at all to push
I
up?
do. When I start to have an area that I really want to kind of highlight or get into that papilla, you can use that back end to just help. But I mean, really, I'm a minimal tool girl. So I'm like, what I can't do with my hands, I'm not interested. So super easy, really quick. Throw them like here. And then I really do like to polish it. Like I said, I'm not a pumice person. I find pumice everywhere after I've been pumicing, and I mean literally everywhere. So I just love a good old like Robinson bristle brush. I think this is medium, and that speed polish, and it just gets it really nice and polished. I think I have an example here, one I did earlier. That side right there, I just polished. This side was right out of the curing unit. So
Oh, nice. Can you hold that a little closer? So one side is speed polish and the other side
yep,
is just
straight
cured.
from, yeah.
Nice. That's
You see
beautiful.
that little shine there. And I mean, I'd much rather work with a hand piece as a ceramist than over on a lathe. I don't know how denture techs do it. I'm impressed by you all, but it's not my skill set. If you want it highly shiny and no detail, then send me over to a lathe. So
So
yeah.
Kaila, if you needed to train someone in your lab
Mhm.
on EasyGum, that obviously they have to have a decent eye and some decent hands. How
Yep.
long do you think it would take you to train them how to do this?
I mean, I would feel comfortable throwing one case at them and sitting with them with one case, and then I would feel very comfortable for them to be able to do it on their own for a try-in for sure. I mean, it's almost like a coloring book. You've got all your landmarks where you need to place this, so it's super easy for them just to follow the lines and be able to set this material.
And then you had two cases there that you had one that was a painted stain.
Yeah.
And then you were going to show kind of the comparison and just
So
talk through just your opinions on this.
Right. So I'm always trying to find ways. Like when we first went into the try-in denture, digital dentures a couple years ago, we did get asked about, hey, can you stain it pink? Okay, sure. I always had a hard time with it, and I'm a ceramist. Which way? There we go. I just found with the applicators, with everything, you can kind of see I would get kind of some spots. I would end up on the teeth a bit more than I'd like. Like I wasn't able to create a nice defined papilla. Now, does it work for a quick try-in? Sure, but I just wasn't as happy with it. Like I didn't really want that representing my brand personally. Now I've seen some beautiful painted try-ins. They're not my style. I just am not able to do it. But I was able to pick up EasyGum really quickly and get a really clean looking product. So
and show the show us both in the same picture. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to see the clear distinction in the transition between the two.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
just a really clean look.
The one in your left hand is EasyGum, and in your right hand is the gingival stain.
Yeah.
Correct. Cool. Yeah. So now that you've played with EasyGum, you see how easy it is. Like, where do you see this fitting in your lab? Like, where are you excited to use EasyGum on your prosthetics?
I definitely think for better communication for try-ins, that's always great. I would much rather have multiple try-ins for a case than a final and have to redo it. So having EasyGum on our try-ins is a really great communication tool. So for sure, right there. I also personally, now that we're doing a lot more digital dentures, so we pretty much switch all of our dentures over to digital dentures unless someone asks otherwise. I've been really liking EasyGum just to add a bit more depth to the regular printed dentures, just to give a bit more of a natural look. I don't know, Rob, if you want me to, I can.
Sure. So you're adding it on top of a pink printed base.
Yeah, and so this was just a really, really quick case that I did. This was a denture that I had laying around. So I just threw some EasyGum on there, and it just really added depth. And I'm sorry, my lighting isn't as good where you can really see it, but it created kind of a gradient, some nice opacity and some nice translucency in just the right places. Whereas, you know, a normal printed denture can sometimes be a little flat, which is fine for some patients, but some want a little extra oomph. So I really do see being able to elevate a digital denture line. So that's where I'm really focused on top of our Triumphs.
Had you ever used syringe composite in that application?
I had dabbled in it, but once again, it took too long for me to learn. And if I don't get it right away, it's just not for me. So these, I mean, like I said, I've only done about 10 cases. That one I just showed was probably my third case in. And I was able just to kind of pick it up, and it's really easy to work with. That I could see these really beautiful results that were happening. And I was like, oh, heck yeah, it was kind of fun to learn. I mean, I'm not on the bench as much anymore. So getting my hands back on it, I was like, oh, this is exciting. This is fun work.
Awesome. Any other final comments you want to say about just your experience so far?
No, I'm like firm believer. So I'm excited to
Well,
see Darren and Matt and see if I can pick up some tricks.
well, I know Matt's got his stopwatch going, so we'll see
Yeah.
who's the fastest.
Oh, do you want me to tag in now? Is that my cue?
Yes,
You're
and
right.
yes, get ready. I wanted to let everyone know that if you go to harvestdental.com, on the left-hand side of the page, you can see we do have an EasyGum webinar promo that's live right now. You could buy it now or for the next 24 hours. And so what this promo is if you buy an EasyGum trial kit, which gives you 4-strip original pink, the papilla tool, and the bonding agent. It is a light cured bonding agent. Somebody asked about, is there any prep required to the printed surface? We do recommend a slight sandblast, and you need to use the bond if you want that long-term bond, that definitive bond between the EasyGum composite and your prosthetic. And then if you buy the trial kit, everything you need to get started, then you'll get 8 strips free, which is the 4 strips original pink opaque, 4 strips dark reddish pink opaque. And so you would just add that to cart and go ahead and check out. If you guys prefer to buy through a dealer like Henry Schein or Nowak or Patterson or Benco, or whoever your favorite dealer is, you can click here and see a list of all of our dealers. And you could also redeem this offer through your dealer as well. So just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of that. This promo is only available until tomorrow night. So love for you guys to participate, get a trial kit, and get started. All right, so Matt, you're in the hot seat. What was your initial reaction to EasyGum when you first started using it? And where are you at now, kind of in your thought with how it fits in the lab?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Matt. I'm doing R&D at Artistic Dental Lab. But I basically hopped into the EasyGum as soon as I got a strip when I saw it being promoted. And my biggest hurdle at the time was consistency of application of our staining process that we were currently doing. I've been doing digital dentures about almost 2 years now at the end of this year. So I started when it was rough and dirty, kind of what Kaila was saying, this really scared people away, kind of staining just the red, and it wasn't the greatest thing. And if you actually want to do it well, you basically kind of have to have the skill set of a ceramist to where you can add that depth with the glazes and the stains that you'd really want to do. And there's just a lot of just extra cleaning involved. So as soon as I saw the strip come in, I was ecstatic because I kind of just slapped it on there and then did the light cure, and it didn't really change the workflow at all. In fact, it just showed me that the trainability would be easy, or than telling people how to stain something, and it would be consistent for our clients, which they always look for, right? And so the consistency and the trainability of it really sold it for me, and we really wouldn't be interrupting our workflow with our current process right now with our digital triants to anything digital denture related currently, right? And my biggest project right now is prototyping with screw retained crowns. I got to print them in a monolithic color and then turn them into this somehow, right? And that's kind of where this can into play, because this is your material right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is maybe my second one I've done, and it was fairly quick and easy, and it kind of worked out really well. And it was good enough to send out with at least something more familiar with the technicians to play with and characterize. Like this one, you can kind of tune it some more, but also cheap enough to where it's not going to cost you in labor and materials as well, and still get you that consistency case to case basis. And with the staining, you know, there's a lot of shades involved, and we mix some shades, but it kind of have to get a certain blend, and that isn't consistent alone just because of the nature of doing it, right? So if I know exactly what I'm putting on here, I know that I can train pretty much everybody to do it. And the try-in, like we're talking about here, is just even easier because now I just have to do the aesthetic zone. And it really kind of helps us kind of focus in on where my line angles, where my lip line, where's my cervical and sizal edge length. And the white picture you showed before was kind of the first experience I had when I saw some photos in the mouth, and I learned from that. And I really like to actually at least stay in the aesthetic zone because I can actually, you know, have a better follow-up denture as a result, right? So I'm going to apply this myself, and I actually brought a denture here too to show like a really gross flat denture that Kaila was talking about, and making it even nicer. But I'm a big tool guy. I know Kaila doesn't like her tools, but I love my gadgets and tools. I get them all, right? And so I actually have a couple tools here that she didn't use yet. And I kind of do the same thing that Kaila recommended. I like to go past the papillae, and I can always just take it off. I don't like adding as well with this material. Been playing around with the opaques lately that I've been enjoying more, because our material that's A2 and the original pink kind of bleeds through a bit more than I'd like. So I've been playing around with some cutbacks as well to add some depth. So I'll kind of just throw that on there. I'll use my tool. Oh crap, you're timing me right.
Kaila, did you start the stopwatch?
Oh, no.
Oh man, we said 3 minutes. That's okay. So I'll kind of do that. And I really like these silicone tips. I think I saw on another Harvest Dental one, but you basically just kind of play with that, and you can quickly kind of apply. So the one thing that caught me off guard with this material when I was first using it is that I really like to touch things until it's like perfect, right? And the more you touch something, kind of the worse it gets, I've found. So with this stuff, it kind of gets, the more you play with it, the less viscous it gets, so it gets warmer. And if you played composite before, which I haven't until this, so this is actually like a happy in-between composite to where it doesn't get too liquid with heat application, but also it's not too rigid when it's cold, right? So it's right there in the between, but it will get softer as you keep playing with it. And the more you add, you kind of have to watch your hand, because my hand will kind of touch one side as I'm working on this side. And I'll realize, oh man, the heat from my hand actually kind of made it drip a little bit. So one thing I've been doing lately is tack curing certain sides, like where I want it, so that way it's not complete start over again or moving it around.
Yeah,
and then I'll
Yeah.
kind of just take away here too.
I agree with you, Matt. Same thing here.
Yeah, you kind of ran into that problem.
Not, yeah, where, you know, if you touch it too much, it does get warm. It's good, you know, in a colder room. And if you're quick with it, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and this stuff you can move really quickly with anyway.
You know, so I'm kind of pretty much done there. If I could have added some more on the canines here on the distal, I'll probably usually stop here on mine compared to the half strip. So depending on the base, you might have to use more than a half given the circumstance, right? This is a pretty hardy base, so I kind of feared like spreading it a little bit, maybe 75% of a strip, but you can kind of collect your pieces over time, right? And then just use them on a case to still conserve material. So it really doesn't go to waste. And I've been able to save like pieces of strip in between the little black strips in there that they give you, and kind of put them right back in the package and store those. So I've got bits and pieces I could just use and tack on. And then going off of your application of this material, it's a great like patch fix work kind of material. I've slapped it on some acrylic devices in certain areas just to kind of mask some metal showing or something like that just need a little extra oomph that really won't do any harm, because it'll just be right there, just kind of out of the way, not really used in the device itself, just by aesthetics alone, right? So, and then we would just kind of, on our normal cases for our prototypes, like if I was doing something like this with the composite, which this is it, I don't have to change anything. So I'll just put the strip on, and then I'll just face the teeth. The lingual, I've only had some pushback in the linguals of coloring it or strips, because that's where it'll really kind of add some more time per case, depending on the doctor and depending on what you're trying to do. I mean, trying the aesthetic zone is just perfectly fine. It just comes with education, a little bit of encouragement from these doctors. One thing the denture world didn't have yet until digital application stuff is they can grind and draw on it and mark midline on the actual device itself and scan in color. Now, if they send me a file like that, I can just see on that existing device that's in the mouth with that bite right now, and then they can even cut any of the occlusion out and adjust it, because this material is softer than the final, right? And we can really kind of get a nice occlusion. If we have a really jacked up denture in the mouth, or we're trying to get them a new one, they can really kind of get them where they need to be, and then we'll just make them a denture from there and scan that in. Versus the wax try and back and forth process, you can kind of decrease the amount of appointments. With the more digital push, I've come to find the wax try-in phase on the digital side is really non-existent, which is really cool. I only do try-in sometimes if I'm really not sure with that bite, but otherwise we'll make you an immediate, and it usually goes really well, surprisingly. So I'm all for it.
Matt, what application would you say you're most excited to use EasyGum in the lab?
Well, probably our try-ins, honestly, because we just paint here to here. It doesn't take too long. But the biggest thing is probably the prototypes. The shade consistency of the prototypes, we'll do a lot of these post-op, right? And the patient will be wearing this for 3 to 6 months. The consistency of the application is what got it for me. The one fear I do have, case-to-case basis, is the bulk, which you can also card by hand, which I do like. So the people that are in the dental department, it's not my forte either, but they are more familiar with this material, so they handle it better than the stain application when I was training them how to do that. This is just something that they can kind of contour themselves after they cure it. And we pretty much put the strip on, stain it, and then throw in the auto flash, and it cures all the same cycle as we normally do with one fire. And then we're done. You can grind it, and then you can pumice and polish. Our try-ins, though, we don't really pumice or polish. We kind of just throw some stain between the aesthetic region and go send it from there, and then just do the one flash. Yeah, I think that answered your question, right?
Yeah, no, that's really good. And you said you're
Wonderful.
using the auto flash?
Yeah,
for
I
your
auto
curing?
flash this every time. I only use the handpiece if I actually am adding depth to it. So if I was doing the prototype, right, I'll use your composite enhancers, right? So I'll use the darker red and darker pinks and put the strip on top of that. But in order for it not to shift while I'm putting the strip on and pressing it down, I'll actually light cure the enhancers in place where they're at, where I want it. And then I'll put the strip on top of that. And that way I know it's kind of secured, because I did it the first time and I kind of pushed it all out of the way. And then here we are trying to fix it. So.
And we got a question in about working time. How much working time do you get before it starts to cure on you? I know our official answer, but I want to ask you, like, what's the working time you've experienced?
Working time is a great question. I would say all the time in the world, honestly, I would say it would run on you more than it would cure on you. I would be happier if it kind of cured as I'm working on it, so it doesn't get running. I don't really have a number for that, because it's never really happened to me, and I've really spent a lot of time on this, maybe 15, 20 minutes sometimes playing with it. I haven't had it cure on me. I would just, when I'm ready, I'll throw it in the auto flash and then I'm done. My biggest issue is just it running on me. That's the only kind of constraint I've had. So I got to be quick, and you'll learn to be quick, but that's the whole idea, is to be quick. So it just comes with time and practice. And I've done a handful of these and I get better each time and improve my technique each time. Really recommend the silicone tips though, that because it'll stick to your gloves. If you don't use gloves, it'll stick to your fingers even worse. So the silicone's really nice because it doesn't stick, and you can push it and knead it how you want and do quick little movements, and it'll really get where you want it to shape and festoon and how you want to do that. but you'd be surprised what you can get just kind of playing around with it with the silicone tip and curing it after that.
Yeah, we did some lab tests. The curing time or working time is about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the type of strip. So the opaque shades have a longer working time, and the non-opaque shades slightly shorter. If you're sitting next to a window with some UV light coming in, that will for sure shorten your working time. But if you're under normal indoor lighting, you should for sure get 20 to 30 minutes. The Harvest Light Bar has a warm setting that is friendly for extended working time for composites. So if any of you guys, do you have a light bar there, Matt?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got
There's
the
my warm.
three,
Thanks for the recommendation.
yeah, the warm setting there, which we can see now. It for sure extends the working time. And if you wanted the working time to be less, you just put it on the cool setting, which is more of the daylight, UV light that's coming in. Well, Matt, thank you for sharing your tips and tricks, and you definitely went fast for sure. We'll transition to Darren, and as we do, someone had asked a question about needing an oxygen inhibitor layer or any nitrogen, a nitrogen atmosphere in the light cure. So, Sasha, I know this is a detail you're
That's why I use the
familiar
auto
with.
flash though. I use the auto flash to remove the oxygen inhibition layer. That's what's the nice part about it. That's why I got the auto flash with the nitrogen. It displaces the oxygen, then it flashes it. So it's a really nice cure process. So I would recommend the auto flash on any digital product, honestly. Anything that like removes that layer, right? I'm sure Darren can elaborate. There's other techniques you can do.
Yeah, I'll also add, hi everybody. I'll also add that, EasyGum was really created to define a new category in pink composites. And to do that, right, we're obsessed around trying to create value where value doesn't exist currently in the category. And so, we do that by trying to find workflow pain areas that are essentially, let's just call them neglected. And one of these areas was extended working time, right? Like that's one of the areas where we felt like we could add value. The other area was actually eliminating the need to add a cover gel to eliminate that inhibition layer. And so EasyGum in a traditional light curing box or light curing pen or handheld eliminates this step. You do not need to add a cover gel. The material is engineered to cure smooth and without that kind of sticky layer. And so again, this is just kind of one way where EasyGum differentiates itself in the marketplace.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that insight, Sasha. Darren, we'll transition to you. Let's see.
All right. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing great. We've got your face on your laptop, but we don't have the video on your overhead cam.
Let's check that.
And while Darren's getting set up, someone asked if we'll be in LMT Chicago with some hands-on. The answer is absolutely. Come by the Harvest booth. We'll have some hands-on technicians there, showing and talking about the product, about EasyGum on Thursday and Friday. Also, I'm joining Jimmy Stigall to do a lecture in the EasyGum room, in the EasyGum lecture room. I'll be talking about some marketing messaging. And then towards the end, we'll also go hands-on with EasyGum. So everyone there, so you can check that out. Myself and Jimmy Stigall will be speaking in the EasyGum booth, and we'll go hands-on there. So plenty of opportunity to learn more about EasyGum in Chicago. All right, Darren. So
always go see Jimmy Stigall. I love Jimmy. He's
Yes.
awesome. I've been learning from him for years. He's a great educator. So tonight we're going to talk about EasyGum and how easy it is to put on and how quickly we can do it. To me, I think it should be a standard on all try-ins in between, you know, when you get the aesthetic zone. So this way, like we were saying earlier, patient can have something to wear later if they have an issue. Because I've worked chairside with many patients. I've seen plenty of dentures eaten by dogs. Yeah, so it's a good thing. So I'm just going to kind of
Awesome.
start here and just kind of have some fun. Show how quickly we can put this on.
Is that my cue to start timing?
Yes,
Well,
Okay,
if
got you.
And I'm not even wearing my loops tonight, which I normally do, because I'm getting older, so it takes me a little more to see things. Actually, I will switch over to those now.
I'm actually doing one while you do one,
I'll
just so I can
grab
see
the
how fast I can.
papilla tool, and I'll just go ahead and start. And then we still have the root prominence now. We can still see all of that as well. I'm just using the original pink right now. This isn't even the pink opaque. I actually prefer the pink opaque a little bit, just because it kind of covers up the white a little bit more. But, and like you, Matt, I like these. Just go around
Yeah,
a
right.
little bit. Just smooth it out a little bit. Just something simple. Just something simple to make the patient happy and see what they're going to have when they're done. So we're done.
That's it.
Oh, you
You're
win.
done.
You
Yeah.
win.
We're
Dang,
done.
sir, that was quick.
Wow.
We're done. That's,
I did not expect that.
34 years. I enjoy what I do. I'm still going to play with it. I mean, I do like to take my time at other times, especially with, screwed in restorations, because a lot of times they're deliver to the patient, let them wear it for a few weeks or a couple of weeks. That way they can actually check function, speech, everything else, and make sure that the tissue shade is what they actually want. If they want something a little darker, we can then take the time and we can add something a little darker in between. We can, take our modifiers like our dark plum modifiers, and we can add some modifiers to this as well. So there's so many different options with this, and the fact that you can actually make it meet the same standards as Mio as far as the colors, which everybody that's doing full arches right now seems to be using Mio, just because the simplicity of it and the shade of it. So
Yeah,
I think it's
that's
also
a good call out. Good call out, Darren. The Mio is really popular on Final Zirconia.
and I don't mean to throw names out there and stuff like that.
No, it's good.
It's
We did we did a case in Mio on our last webinar. Amanda Carson showed how her provisional.
Amanda, they did a great job on that too. I was there for that, and enjoyed that with them. So looking forward to working with you, trying to get the shade conversion chart put together as well. That'd be fun.
I know that's Amanda and I's homework. We've been delinquent, Amanda, if you're listening.
Well, I'll be
Hey,
happy.
Darren.
Yes.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to know. So, have you had any issues? So, your main issue with that Mio. So, you have a lot of denture product kind of converting to zirconia as far as that shading goes. One thing I get a lot is how is the zirconia going to look as far as the tissue goes compared to the current device that I have that's plastic, right? And so that's a good point there with that Mio, because now they get a similar shade gradient to that final zirconia product, which will usually look way different than an acrylic, prototype from before. So you can kind of dial it in a little bit better off the get-go and get them more used to that shade, or at least better shade matching, right?
Right.
From your experience.
And to that, it's also got, people have to understand this is a temporary prosthesis. This is something we're just looking at. It's, they do have to understand there's a difference between, zirconia restorations versus you know, a prototype like this, you know, a denture or a PMMA or whatever it might be using Stratus's J5. There's all kinds of stuff out there, but there's always going to be a difference. And people just have to understand this is a temporary process. The final is always better. It always is.
Hmm. Yeah, one thing I'm kind of afraid with going forward with this product, I don't know, have you had any bulk concerns like in your cat? Have you been cutting back the gingiva at all? Or
Definitely, yeah.
my technician's biggest fear is, well, what if I add too much facial bulk? How do I know? The design in cat is super thin, and which we can do now and really follow the ridge and keep that super thin because of the nature of how it's made as one piece instead of the denture teeth, right? You don't need that bigger lingual to kind of support the teeth. But how much,
It,
have you had any issues with that with clients or anything
it,
like that with that bulk?
uh, it depends on the design. You know, I recommend in your design you do 0.5 mm cut back in your designs, at least 0.5 mm, just because this is going to add dimension. It's going to add bulk to it. So
Hmm.
in your designs, definitely you want to cut it back, and that
Yeah, that's
takes
what I've been doing lately.
that designer like a few seconds just to cut back in the major areas, especially in your prototypes, because you have to cut back a little bit in your final designs as well. You know, with Mio, you want about a 0.3 cut back. With this product, you want about a 0.5 mm cut back. I've seen to 0.7 somewhere around there,
Hmm. Case to
just
case.
because of the thickness of the product itself.
Yeah, I ran into the implant positions too, kind of being in the way when I want to do my cutbacks. If it's, designed a little too close to the implants, then you cut it back and you're exposing that chamber there. So yeah, it's a
Yeah,
work in progress.
when your implant position is where it is, it's where it is because a lot of times, function begets aesthetics at times. You got to remember that as well. So, especially when it comes to implant cases, function
Of
begets
course.
aesthetics.
Well
Well,
said.
thank you, Darren. Matt and Kayla, why don't you show your beautiful faces again, and we'll come in visually and chat for a few more minutes, and then answer some more questions. There was some discussion around, EasyGum being, it is, designed for an amazing use case for provisionals. But we also have a white paper. I just wanted to reference this, and if anyone wants a copy of it, we had two of our PhD scientists do a ton of research on the long-term use of composite interorally. And we have a white paper here that references how EasyGum can be used for a definitive restoration. So 5 years or even longer, if you sandblast and use Easy Bond, as per the IFU, it's going to have a 17 megapixel bond strength, which is 3.5 times the ISO requirement. And then if you polish, we all know that if a highly polished surface that has very low porosity is going to be best for long-term, plaque resistance and all of that. So EasyGum
Mhm.
can be used for a long-term prosthetic. Um, I know of doctors that like to put milled PMMA with EasyGum over a titanium bar for a long-term prosthetic that's going to be kind to the opposing, right? They didn't want to put zirconia in the mouth, and they wanted something that's more like a denture tooth, like the Harvest DCL denture tooth is a double cross-linked long-term tooth polymer, and it's a great companion with EasyGum, and for sure has a very long-lasting life and application. So, although today we are talking about provisional dentures, which are likely going to be either discarded or saved for an emergency, if bonded properly and polished, it will last a very long time.
That's really exciting.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Easy Gum also, polishing up with the speed polish. I also found that the goat hair with the chamois in the center works really good as an initial polish, and then following up with a cotton polisher like this. That really gives it a really nice shine, real smooth finish, which is very cleansable. It's just like the Harvest Nano Zirconia. Polishing it is a very good product as well.
Yeah, we're gonna.
That's some fancy brushes, Darren. Do I have to, I mean, my neighbor's got some goats. Should I go round that up? Get some of those better than my bristle brushes?
Oh, I
I
want to
just used
see
the lathe.
Kaila
I was gonna walk
harvesting
right
some
up.
I'll go
good.
wrangle up some goats.
But I just found that's what works best for me as far as polishing it. And a polished surface always is better than something that's glazed.
I would agree.
Kaila, would you show that half and half polished?
Yeah.
Um,
See if I can, which cameras? Ooh, not that one. Hold on. Let me get the other camera up. Way better. Sorry, weird angle. Okay. That one. So
Yeah,
this
so that-
side being just polished with that speed polish, and that was this side here, just straight from the curing unit. And once again, this
Nice.
took me like 2 seconds. So I'm a very impatient woman. So if it's not quick, I'm not doing it. So
I love
Still
it.
have to look good though.
yeah, for sure.
Slow is fast. Fast is fast.
Well, let me just show just a couple more pictures and then we'll wind down our time. We did have some really beautiful images taken by VA Lady Toothmaker, Shanna Grip, took the case for the webinar, showed a half a strip, applied it, used a papilla tool, shaped it in place, and there you have it. Really easy process, start to finish. You guys saw tonight, 3 to 5 minutes, maybe 7 to 10 minutes when you just get started, but you should be able to hit that 5-minute mark for sure. Again, just want to reference the webinar promo. It is available until tomorrow night. So go ahead and head over to harvestdental.com and there's a link on the homepage. I also put a link in the comments of the Zoom webinar. And also would love you guys to join our Pink Different Facebook group. Please go ahead and scan the QR code and you can join our Pink Different Facebook group where we have some technicians sharing cases and having some dialogue around pink aesthetics. You know, Sasha had a vision many years ago for how pink aesthetics, everyone's going for the white and not the pink. And Sasha and Harvest wanted to go for the pink. And I for sure am glad. And there's a lot of innovation to be had in this arena. Just going to show a few highlighted cases here. Amanda Carson on the left is a Mio final on Harvest Nano Zirconia, and on the right is EasyGum on Harvest Aesthetic DCL Denture. And I swear these look like she just took the same image and cut it in half. In fact, the teeth are what kind of signal you visually that there's not an exact match. But if you were to just look at the pink from left and right, I mean, this is absolute spot on, beautiful work, matching EasyGum to Mio. Here's a wonderful case Shannon Grip did, just kind of showing her recipe. Here's that upper and lower printed hybrid again. Here's another one. And then here's a case that Shanna did upper lower case. This is the EasyGum on her provisionals. So it for sure can be elevated, look awesome. But the point of today was to share and talk about how to go fast. Sasha, any final comments? Anything you wanted? Anything did I miss? Leave anything out?
No, we just we're so grateful for all of you who have taken the time to hang out with us for a little while here. And yeah, hopefully you know, you got a return on your attention. EasyGum is a material that was designed to offer flexibility, right? We can go as high as we want to go in aesthetics, but also, you know, with regards to you know, economies of scale and depending on the value of the prosthetic, right? Scale the time, the time and cost of material. To our amazing mentors, thank you so much for taking the time to demo. For our community, we're so grateful to you, Matt and Darren and Kaila. Thank you very much.